Hola a todos, bienvenidos a mi canal. Si eres nuevo aquí, bienvenido y un abrazo grande. En mi canal hago vídeos sobre ASMR, especialmente susurros, historias de terror y también en mi sección de shots tengo vídeos de diarios creativos que se llama Junk Journal o Creative Journal. Os animo a que veáis mis vídeos y si os gusta darle a like y suscribiros dándole aquí abajo a la campana para recibir notificaciones cuando publique un nuevo vídeo. Solo quería empezar este vídeo en español porque hoy tengo historias de terror de España, mi país favorito. Pero por el beneficio de todos los seguidores voy a hacer este vídeo en inglés como siempre, ¿vale? La próxima vez quizás haré un vídeo solo en español. Veremos. Y ya está. Comenzamos el vídeo en inglés. Vamos. Hello. I hope you liked my Spanish introduction. I thought it was absolutely necessary for me to begin the video in Spanish because today I have scary stories from Spain, my favorite country. Okay, second favorite country. Singapore will be my favorite country and then Spain. I had intended to do the entire video in Spanish, but I don't know, for the sake of everyone, I thought English would be better, so I researched Spanish scary stories or scary tales. So I picked out 4 of the most interesting stories, or at least I think of them as the most interesting stories from Spain. And I just want to emphasize that I am not sure if these stories are real or they are just hearsay, made up by people. So I just wanted to emphasize that point. You know that these scary story videos are purely for entertainment purposes, so I just wanted to put it out there. Okay, so the 4 stories I have today are La Casa de las Siete, Chimeneas. It's the house of 7 chimneys from Madrid. And the second story is the ghost of the Palacio de Linares, also from Madrid. And then we have the La Santa Compaña, Galicia. And we have the last story, the bright mystery of Santa María del Mar. Okay, I thought of these stories to be really interesting, so let's get started with the video, okay? La Casa de las Siete Chimeneas, an elegant mansion nestled in the heart of Madrid's literary quarter, has long been the subject of intrigue and fear. Built in the 16th century, the mansion was commissioned by Captain Zapata, a wealthy and influential soldier, and intended as a luxurious home for him and his young bride, Elena. The couple's story began with great promise. Elena, described as a beauty of noble lineage, was deeply in love with her husband, and their union was seen as a symbol of prosperity and fortune. But their happiness was tragically short-lived. Soon after the wedding, Captain Zapata was summoned to serve in one of Spain's many military campaigns, leaving Elena to wait anxiously for his return. She would often sit on the roof terrace looking out toward scoured the horizon hoping for news. One fateful day, the devastating word arrived. Her husband had been killed in battle. Elena's grief was immeasurable. She rarely left her chambers and was said to have fallen into deep despair. Shortly afterward, Elena disappeared. Some say she took her own life out of grief, while others believe that more sinister forces were at play. The official story was that she had died of a broken heart, but whispers of foul play began to circulate among the servants and neighbors. What truly happened to Elena remains a mystery, for her body was never found. Some speculate that she was buried secretly within the house to avoid scandal. Not long after her disappearance, strange occurrences began to plague the mansion. The most chilling of these was the appearance of a ghostly woman in white, often seen pacing the rooftop near the house's 7 chimneys. She appeared to be searching for something or someone. This figure was soon identified as the restless spirit of Elena, still waiting for her husband's return. Neighbors would hear the sound of soft weeping at night, and the apparition became a regular sight for those who dared to look. The haunting persisted through the centuries as the mansion changed hands, each owner reporting eerie experiences. Some spoke of cold drafts sweeping through the halls, while others recounted encounters with a spectral woman drifting silently through the rooms. More disturbingly, several witnesses described hearing whispers as if Elena's ghost was trying to communicate, though her words were unintelligible. Many years later, as the house was converted into a government building, these stories continued. Workers and officials reported seeing fleeting shadows, and some even claimed to feel an inexplicable sadness when entering certain rooms. The renovations have modernized the building. The ghostly presence remains, a chilling reminder of the tragic fate of the young bride who vanished without a trace. I think this story is a story or a real event. I don't know, but I think it's more sad than scary, and yeah. Okay, story number 2. The ghost of the Palacio de Linares from Madrid. From my research of Spanish horror stories, this particular one, I think it's quite well known and famous in Spain. The Palacio de Linares, a grand 19th century mansion in Madrid's Plaza de Cibeles, is an architectural marvel that exudes opulence and historical significance. Built by the wealthy industrialist José de Murga, the palace was intended to showcase the affluence of the Murga family. However, beneath its lavish exterior lies a tragic and horrifying tale that has haunted the palace for over a century. The story of the Palacio de Linares centers on the love affair between José de Murga and Raimundo Despite his family's disapproval, Jose was determined to marry Raimonda and they wed in secret. However, shortly after the marriage, Jose discovered a dark and terrible secret. Raimonda was his half-sister, the illegitimate daughter of his father. This revelation shattered their lives as the couple was consumed by guilt and despair. The most horrifying part of the story claims that the couple had a child together, but fearing the scandal, they were said to have taken the life of the baby to hide their shame. From that moment on, the couple lived in isolation, tortured by their own actions. Soon after their deaths, the haunting of the Palacio de Linares began. Visitors and staff have reported hearing the ghostly cries of a child echoing through the halls, as if the little child is still calling out for her parents. Others have heard whispered conversations between a man and a woman, their voices filled with sorrow and regret. The spirits of Jose and Raimonda are believed to be trapped within the palace, unable to find peace due to the weight of their sins. One of the most chilling aspects of the haunting is the appearance of ghostly figures. On several occasions, visitors have claimed to see the apparition of a little girl dressed in white, playing near the palace's grand staircase. Her laughter is faint but distinct, and those who have encountered her describe an overwhelming feeling of sadness. The figures of Jose and Raimonda have also been seen wandering the palace's rooms, their faces edged with anguish. Over the years, there have been stories of strange phenomena such as unexplainable voices, sudden drops in temperature, and mysterious orbs of light. The haunting has become so well known that the palace now embraces its ghostly reputation, offering tours that delve into its dark history. This also, I think, is more sad than scary, and after reading this story I became very interested in wanting to visit this place after knowing the offer tours, and I think I will do it the next time that I'm in Spain. Yeah. Okay, that story. This one I found particularly creepy and eerie. La Santa Compaña from Galicia. Okay. In Galicia, an ancient and terrifying legend has endured for centuries. La Santa Compaña, a procession of souls doomed to wander the earth after death. Unlike typical ghost stories that center around a haunted place or a tragic individual, La Santa Compaña is a spectral procession that roams the countryside, a wandering host of the dead, which appears on nights so dark that even the stars seem to shy away. The legend of La Santa Compaña has many variations, but the core of the story remains consistent across Galicia. The procession is said to consist of the spirits of the dead, cloaked in long robes, their faces hidden beneath hoods. They march in a silent line, holding burning candles or oil lamps, their pale lights flickering ominously in the night. At the head of the procession walks a living person, often someone who has been cursed or chosen by the spirits. This unfortunate soul is tasked with carrying a large cross or a heavy cauldron, and though they may appear to be sleepwalking, they are fully aware of their dreadful duty. This living person is bound to lead the procession every night, unaware of the passage of time, until they can find someone else to take their place. The curse can only be transferred through specific means, such as passing the cross or cauldron to another. But if you are willing to take on this terrible burden, the living leader will waste away from exhaustion and terror, their health deteriorating as they are forced to walk each night with the dead, often without remembering it upon waking. The purpose of La Santa Compaña's journey is unclear, but it is believed that the spirits are searching for souls to join their ranks. Their appearance is considered a harbinger of death, and anyone who sees the procession is either doomed to die soon or destined to fall under its curse. The spirits might be visiting the house of someone who is soon to die, marking their fate in advance, or traveling to places where sins need atonement, forever bound to the roads they haunt. The most chilling part of the legend is the way the living can encounter La Santa Compaña. Locals warn that if you ever find yourself walking alone at night in the forest or rural parts of Galicia, you should always be on guard. The spirits are invisible at first, but you may feel a sudden chill, smell the faint scent of wax, or see the soft flicker of candles approaching from the distance. The air grows unnaturally still, and soon the procession will reveal itself, emerging silently from the mist or darkness. If you encounter La Santa Compaña, there are very few ways to protect yourself. Some believe that you should draw a circle around yourself on the ground or fall to your knees and recite prayers. Others say you must carry a cross or holy medallion, or even turn your clothes inside out as a form of protection. Most importantly, you must never acknowledge the procession, for even looking directly at the spirits can draw their attention and seal your fate. There are countless stories of people in rural Galicia who have come across the Santa Compaña and lived to tell the tale, though many were never the same afterward. Some described feeling a sense of deep despair after their encounter, as if they had been touched by death itself. Others fell gravely ill, and a few claimed they were haunted by the spirits in their dreams, unable to escape the memory of the ghostly procession. One famous tale tells of a young man from a small village who stumbled upon the procession while returning home late one night. Unaware of the legend, he stared directly at the spirits, transfixed by their ghostly forms. The next morning, he could barely remember what had happened, but he soon fell into a deep depression. His health worsened rapidly, and within weeks he was dead. His soul said to have joined the ranks of La Santa Compaña. The legend of La Santa Compaña has endured in Galician culture for centuries, passed down through generations of villagers and travelers. Even today, the story remains deeply rooted in the collective imagination of the region. Some believe that the spirits are the remnants of old rituals, transformed over time into a Christian ghost story. Others think that La Santa Compaña is a metaphor for the weight of sin and guilt, a reminder that the dead are never far from the living. Whether real or imagined, La Santa Compaña continues to send chills down the spines of those who hear its story. To this day, few dare to walk the isolated may hear the soft rustle of ropes and the faint glow of candles approaching through the fog. A ghostly procession that offers no escape. So eerie, right? I found this very, very scary. Let's hope it's just a made-up tale and not real. Because Galicia is a part of Spain that I want to visit and I've never been yet. So, okay, last story for today. The Bride Mystery of Santa Maria del Mar. In the enchanting heart of Barcelona, the Basilica of Santa Maria del Mar rises majestically, a masterpiece of Catalan Gothic architecture known for its stunning stained glass windows and grand stone columns. However, within its sacred walls lies a chilling tale, a tragic love story that intertwines love, life, death, and the supernatural. The legend recounts the heartbreaking tale of a beautiful young woman on the cusp of a new beginning. She was set to marry her beloved in a ceremony that promised to be the event of the year. The anticipation was palpable and the excitement in the air was electric as friends and family gathered, ready to witness the union of the two souls. On the fateful day of her wedding, the young bride arrived at the basilica, a vision of grace and beauty in an exquisite white gown adorned with delicate lace and shimmering jewels. However, as the ceremony unfolded, an unsettling weight seemed to settle over her. With guests looking on in shock, she suddenly collapsed at the altar, lifeless and pale. The joyous celebration instantly transformed into a scene of despair as her loved ones rushed to her side, but despite their desperate attempts, she was gone. In their grief, the bride's family made the sorrowful decision to hold her funeral in the very basilica where she had intended to exchange vows. They dressed her in a wedding gown, carefully placing her precious jewelry upon her lifeless form. The sight of her, so beautiful yet so still, struck fear and sadness into the hearts of all who attended. After the ceremony, family and friends returned to their homes, leaving the coffin in the empty church overnight. As darkness enveloped the basilica, an eerie silence replaced the earlier sounds of mourning. The once holy place now stood as a silent witness to the tragedy that had unfolded within its walls. Later that night, the peace of the basilica was shattered by the sound of creaking doors. Two thieves, drawn by the allure of the bride's exquisite jewels, broke into the church. Their greed clouded their judgment as they approached her coffin, plotting to steal her adornments. With trembling hands, they reached for the shimmering earrings hanging from her ears. In a moment of desperate haste, the thieves yanked at the earrings, tearing them from her ears with such force that they ripped her earlobes apart. At that moment, a blood-curdling scream pierced the stillness of the night. Their corpse bride, revived by the pain, let out a chilling cry that echoed through the church. The thieves, struck with terror at the sight of the seemingly resurrected bride, fled the scenes, their hearts racing with fear. They had not anticipated that their greed would unleash such a horrifying response. Alone in the dark, the bride began to stir, rising from a coffin, a wedding gown flowing around her like a ghostly shroud. Confused and disoriented, she made her way back to her family's home. Arriving at her doorstep, she found her loved ones in shock, still grieving her death. In their fear and disbelief, they mistook her for a ghost, convinced that her spirit had returned to haunt them. Terrified, they refused to let her in, leaving her outside in the cold night air. Fortunately, her fiancé, who had been inconsolable in his grief, saw her from a distance. Realizing that she was indeed alive, he rushed to her side and called for a doctor. The physician arrived and examined her, concluding that she had suffered from cataplexy, a sudden loss of muscle control often triggered by intense emotions. He assured them that she had not returned from the dead, but had merely been in a state of unconsciousness. Despite the doctor's reassurances, superstitious neighbors whispered about the dead bride who had risen from her grave. The tale of her terrifying return spread like wildfire, transforming into a legend that would echo through the streets of Barcelona for generations. Okay, now that's the end of today's video. I hope you liked the Spanish horror tales. Let me know in the video if you have ideas for future horror videos. Maybe horror tales from specific countries, or maybe you have horror stories to share your encounters with the paranormal. I'll be happy to read them out in this channel. I love horror stories, especially real encounters. It just spooks me. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the video and you have a good night, good day, wherever you are in the world. And until I see you in my next video, you take care. Hasta luego. Ciao, ciao. Bye.